Hey y'all, it's Kenetra
and Adebusola,
and we are BGMT. All right, y'all. Now, you know,
this is her forte.
I've been waiting for this moment. I'm not gonna lie. So we are talking nothing but Beyonce this episode. We're gonna be talking about Homecoming, which is her recent Netflix special about her performance at Coachella last year. I need a moment to gather myself. Like,
oh Lord,
you start
part
first.
Of the Beehive, so
all day. I'm not like a stalk you on the internet. You have to love Beyonce. I'm not that Beehive. I just support talent. Where talent is and where talent has always been, where talent has been for the past 20 years. Just saying. I'm sorry. I just don't understand people who. You don't have to be a fan of her, but let's not act like she's not very fucking talented. Like, let's not try to play Beyonce like she's not Beyonce. But you start with your favorite moment. I have to get myself together.
Before I even go into that, I wouldn't consider myself a part of the Beehive, but if what it means to be a part of the Beehive means to acknowledge that she is a living legend and that she's completely talented in every single aspect, like, who else do you know can sprint in heels and hit every note? Then I'm part of the Beehive. But I don't consider myself part of the Beehive because I'm not an extremist of her.
Yes.
But she is one of the most talented artists I've ever laid my eyes on or listened to that is still alive.
Just to let you know, there are layers in the Beehive. There's a hierarchy. I know the people.
Oh, wow.
No, there really is. There's just fans like me and you. There's people who take it too far and they're like, Beyonce is Jesus. Like, no. Even my thing about this is like, even Beyonce said, hey y'all, I'm not Jesus. Y'all need to stop saying that. But the super fans, they take it a little too far. Yeah. But we're just gonna talk about our own fandom. In Homecoming. So I've seen Beyonce live 4 times.
I've never had. It's on my bucket list.
It needs to be because it's really an experience. Like, I loved her. I loved Beyonce. But then when I saw her live, I was like, this bitch is amazing. Like, her dancers are working just as hard as she is. And it's nuts to see Beyonce live. And then I saw her both on the Run tours as well as also seeing her by herself. Unless you've seen Beyonce live, you don't know what she sounds like. For real, because when she gets live,
I've never seen
when she is live, it's like, wow. Like, she does her own background singers is herself. Like, she records her own vocals to do the background. Like, if you ever listen to like Flawless, when you hear like the opera notes in the background, that's her. Because she did them live. She does them live.
I saw, like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, everything.
That was amazing.
Like, when she
could be an opera singer.
Yeah. When she hits those notes live, it's like, that is a human making that noise.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. And if you haven't seen Beyonce live, do it while you can. They're not nearly as pricey as people make them seem. Like, when I went last time with Mara, shout out to Mara, we went in section 107, so we were down like in the arena part. It was only $130.
Really? That's cheap.
Not that bad. Like, people pay a lot more for less.
I thought it was gonna be like $400 something.
No, those are $400 if you're like right there, like breathing her air.
That's personally me. If I'm going to a concert, that's the kind of seat I want to have, and I would pay that. I could make that $400 something back. Yeah. So. That me personally, I'd pay that.
But back into Homecoming, it's very black. How else can you put it? It's black as hell. HBCU bands are there, which are super dope to hear. She did Before I Let Go, which is a black anthem by Frankie Beverly and Maze. A remake for the young aunties, because I'm very auntie, even though I'm young. But when I heard it, I was like, this is a bop. And then she like mixed Candy by Cameo into it.
It was really nice.
Like,
I love that.
Oh my God. Like, me and my dad were jamming the blank out to Beyonce. I was like, Dad, Beyonce put out a new album. It's not new music, but she did it with a band. He was like, all right, let's hear it. Like, he was not impressed because both of my parents aren't Beyonce fans. Me and my sister both are, but I played it for him and we were both jamming, like jamming hard. And then so much so, I went home and his room is connected to mine by a wall. And I'm hearing Beyonce. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's not me. It was my daddy.
She made her dad.
Yeah, he's Beehive. He's Beehive.
That's lit.
But what was your take, friend?
I love that she explained that she didn't get to experience being at an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
And I resonated with that. I just love connecting to different things, and it's just like, I wish I went to HBCU. You know, I didn't get that experience, but she brought her wish or her desire to life, and she brought it to the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, she brought it to like a predominantly white like event, and that was just so powerful in itself. Mm-hmm. I love that she incorporated a lot of Fela Kuti. She had a lot of Fela Kuti vibes and rhythms and music in there. That was just so dope. Mm-hmm. I love how she brought out her sister. I love, like, if I were like a sister and I was like I am a sister. If I were a performer, I would always bring out my sisters. Always. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was so cute. She just had like a little glimpses of everything, mm-hmm. different like eras in her life, different times in her life, and Destiny's Child. That was really, really, really nice. I love that.
Emotional. Funny you bring up the predominantly white crowd who was confused as hell, not knowing what was going on, not really seeing what was happening in front of them. Mm-hmm. This is why I love Beyonce. Because if you notice when you watch Homecoming, she only shows the black girls in the audience.
Oh my God, that's so
she was not. She don't give a damn about that. She's like, y'all need to see. This is for y'all, and that's what it made me feel as a black woman, as a black woman who was a fan of Beyonce 20 years now, seeing her come into her own of owning herself as a black woman. Because, Beyonce, she had to go the commercial route for so many years. And I feel like now that she's so far in her career, she's kind of like, I don't got to appease nobody but who I want to. And I'm so proud she made it about black womanhood. Because we don't have a lot of people who will straight up say, this is about black women and black people and our history, our plight. And if you watch the documentary, she's talking about that in the documentary, and like she makes a point to say, I'm the first black woman to ever headline Coachella. Ain't that a bitch? Like she really said, like she said it to them, like, hey, by the way, y'all, I see what the hell y'all got going on, which is so powerful to me because a lot of performers won't call out these big enterprises who put on these concerts and say, hey, where's the representation? And then for her to not only that was the most viewed Coachella ever, but then she gave us a documentary that we can watch in our houses, then an album that I can bump in my car on the way to work, and her mixing her old music and her new music. Like there's one breakdown where she mixes Sorry with Me, Myself, and I. What? Like who would have even thought? Like that part, I literally like I was like, because I love Me, Myself, and I, and like you would never think those songs would connect, but they do. They do, and the band snapped the whole time. If you're a beats person, that band went off, and it felt like home. Like Homecoming was such a good name for it, especially like with me being from another place and living up here for so long and being so disconnected from my southern roots because I've lived up here so long. I was very emotional. And then it's Beyonce, like
I'm very impressed by her because she literally has 3 children. Like, and it's not just 1, then 2, then 3, it was 1, then 2. That is very difficult. And she was getting it. She was getting it. Like, not getting it, getting it. Like, yes, she was going crazy. She went ballistics with the choreography, with the vocals, with everything. And I love that she was a spotlight, obviously, but like she really shined a lot of light on her dancers, the drummers, the singers, everything. And I love that she represented big bone women. Like that was like, I'm like, this is so like, why are you like this? Why are you like this? It was perfect.
She snuck a little dance hall in there. Like, I was like, how can it be? Like, I love it. I feel seen.
Right.
she brought out everybody, you know, like she brought out her husband. She could have kept him, but you know, whatever. Oh, Lord. No shade, I love Jay-Z, but like she just brought out people who she loves. She let us see like how her growing up in Texas really affected her life. Because I feel like people forget Beyonce's from Texas. Like she's a Southern girl. Like this is very much her roots, and I feel like people. I don't think Beyonce has whitewashed herself, but I think people have whitewashed Beyonce to not think of her as a Black woman. And I think this was her reminding them, hey, don't get it fucked up. Like, this is who I am. And this is where I come from. These are my people. This is what I grew up experiencing. Because she was saying in the documentary how she grew up right down the street from all these prestigious HBCUs with these crazy bands, and she never got to really experience it the way she wanted to because she had Destiny's Child. And I think that was dope how she brought them back out, because it's like I get to have both now and on my terms. So that was powerful to me. I'm like, wow, her mind. Like, wow, we were just so.
She's brilliant.
She's everything. Like I love her. I don't know what else to say about. Like it was just so good. Like. The transitions were amazing. The lighting was good. It wasn't just about Beyonce. You saw the formation being put together. Little pun, because Formation was her last solo tour. But it was just like, you got to see what she was thinking and then see it play out the way she wanted to, which is hard to do, because if you watch it, you know she's a perfectionist. Like she made them do it 1,000,001 times. Every time had a criticism to make it better and better and better and better and better. She got to the final product, which of course was amazing. But that takes a lot of hard work and discipline, and she talked about her diet, how she didn't eat sugar, and no alcohol, no bread. Like I was like, girl, so you just hungry.
That's a little much. I'm like, how do you do that? And I remember she was showing the footage of like when the first day that she started, and like along down the line, I'm like, dang, she lost mad weight.
She did.
Like, wow.
And also that was fresh off of having 2 babies, not 1 baby, 2 babies. And if you listen to her talk about her pregnancy and all that, she had a really difficult pregnancy. She had preeclampsia. She had something else.
Which is very common in Black women.
Yeah, and she got super sick when she was having the babies, and they had to do emergency C-section. Like, that's a lot of trauma to your body. That's a lot of trauma to your body, and then you get up out of doing that and pull off a performance like that. What? If you don't give her roses and say, you know what, I might not. You can say I'm not. You can say I'm not a fan of Beyonce. But acknowledge her work, acknowledge her dedication, acknowledge what she does. Because
one thing I don't like is how people say that she is kind of like, she's unrealistic with how she is in like social media. Like I just believe that she's private, and I think that she has the right to be private. Like just because we don't know all the deep down dirt about every little thing that goes on every single little day doesn't mean that she's not a human.
Beyonce don't have to tell us a damn thing.
She doesn't.
But
she does.
Let's acknowledge the fact Beyonce comes from a different era. When Beyonce got into the game, it was the late 90s. Like, you might have had, like, the tabloids, but they weren't pushing all up in your face, trying to be all on your Instagram. Like, she is very realistic with her social media, because she's like, I don't want drama in my life. I want to have my moments with my fans, and then I want to have my family. She's not wrong for doing that.
She didn't have to provide us with all this information.
Realistically, if that's how you want your social media, that's how you have to do it. And also, I want to do a little sidebar. This is a little shade, because I'm Kenetra, and this is what I do. I'm the queen of shade, is this one called. Oh, no. Petty queen. Whatever. Taylor Swift, we saw that little debauchery, or whatever the hell that was. Oh, ma'am.
I don't agree.
No, ma'am.
I feel like Beyonce's not the first person.
She's not
to do something like that.
She's
and
not.
I feel like no matter who it was, even if it was a Black person that did it after Beyonce, people will still have something to say.
This is why I have something to say. It's fresh off the coattails of Homecoming. Homecoming just came out.
Yeah, I know, but
and
like,
then
even if it was a Black person,
you pick the same. Oh, if it was anybody, I'd drag them. Like,
so what's the
you
point?
pick. It's just who she is. Like, I had to call her out by name. But either way, don't copy Beyonce. With that being said, we gotta go.
But
you don't have to. But anyway, we gotta go. As always, we've been BGMT. Peace out.
See ya.